Tonechaser, that thing you hear in your head that you just can't quite get.
So here we are, Chasers. Final segment of our Women and Children First revisit, as it were. Again, another huge thank you to everybody for your support of the book. I think most of you know, or all of you know maybe, that I sold out all those first books I had printed. I'm currently having new books printed. We'll have a new front and back cover. The text is identical, so you're not going to miss anything. I did add three pictures that were pretty cool, but it's the same book, just a different cover, different day, and yeah. So okay, here we go. Last segment, starting with a whole note rest. And did you get that double entendre? Whole note rest? Okay, here we go. I told you at the beginning of our tale, I wanted to be as honest and transparent with you as I possibly could in the telling of this story. That was the only way I knew how to undertake this journey. If I was going to gloss over stuff or fudge here and there or invent a hagiography that presented me in a more positive light, I wouldn't have written this book. I couldn't have written this book. Because every time I lifted a copy from the shelf and held it in my hands, I know there were lies printed on those pages, and honestly, I couldn't bear that. My time with Edward was far too precious, and if I didn't completely and utterly believe that, why write the book at all? So, I have traversed the darkest corners of my head where unkind and stupid comments lurked and shined a light on them and brought them out of hiding. I wanted you to see them. Well, I didn't want you to see them, but I think you have to see them. So you might understand who Edward was. I believe you need to know who I was, or at least I think so. All the words I wish I could have swallowed, the fucked up faux pas, they're all here. I have not lied about or covered up anything that happened, though heaven knows there was a shitload of stuff I wish I could have buried 6 feet deep. While we had been in the car listening to the tracks, Edward specifically pointed out the solo and then the cradle will rock and told me he really liked what he had done.
What's that one little riff you said you liked in Cradle will Rock? That
See,
one.
I don't even know how I did that. Just something like it. Yeah, that's all good.
And then proceeded to reconstruct the performance on the Strat and listen to that on the tape. How freaking great is that, huh?
I don't even know how I did it.
After noodling around for a bit, he found the phrases, including that astonishing final 5-note sequence, which to my mind is just one of the most beautiful codas I've ever heard in my life. After he played that closing riff, I said, "It's nice, that little thing." And I cringe now at my word choice. Nice?
It's nice, it's nice, that little thing.
Yeah.
An April shower was nice. A new pair of socks was nice. A refreshing cup of coffee was nice. But describing that ending phrase as nice was unforgivable, an understatement of the stupidest kind. Though I think I mentioned earlier in our literary journey here that Edward never sought out compliments. And if I ever was effusive in heaping a shitload of praise on him, he barely seemed to register it. And for those who read the book, more than not even registering it, it pissed him off. He didn't like to hear that. Odd, right? Odd. He didn't need to hear from me how great that solo was. And indeed, I always suspected he didn't want me stroking his ego or covering him in superlatives, because he heard that constantly in a nonstop barrage from everybody else he ever encountered. Though my first reaction after listening to some fantastic riff he may have played was to let fly with every over-the-top adjective I could think of, I'm of the opinion that it was because I didn't do that and didn't fall all over myself and fawn all over him that he was able to feel comfortable and vulnerable in my presence. I do believe that. It was a hard thing to do, but I think that was some of the connecting tissue that we had. After I told him it's nice, that little thing, he answered, yeah, it sounds good on there. And he was referring to the solo on the tape. that he brought over.
It sounds good on there. You know,
Yeah.
I haven't quite been able to duplicate it since.
Yeah.
But sometimes these shit on a record, man, it's just a freak little thing.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Well,
I love mistakes because you can never redo them exactly the same. And a lot of times some good shit comes out, you know.
Edward was all about mistakes. He lived for those magical mistakes. When some unintended and fluky little phrase, some strange little riff would crawl up from beneath his fingers on the fretboard. Those inspired aberrations slithered all over the album.
What was that one tune when you did the little finger thing you mentioned? It was kind of a missed note, but you still left it in there. What tune was that?
I Live With Full.
Which is the original title for Fools, which I thought was pretty cool. So even at that late date, when he had brought over the tracks, they were still calling it I Live With Fools. Tentatively playing the little lick from the song on the Strat, he said,
I don't even know how I did it. I haven't sat down and relearned it. It was really a freak thing. It sounds weird. It sounds like I'm slipping, you know. Mm-hmm. That's one of those things you just can't. You know, I said, wait a minute, what is that? I wasn't sure whether I liked it or not, but then since I couldn't exactly figure out how I did it, I said, yeah, I like it.
And he laughs. And we close our chapter, and aren't we lucky that Edward did leave that in there? So I hope you dug this. Again, let me know, and maybe we could do this again. If you like hearing me read my own words, and I know I stumble over them at times, but because they're not meant to be read out loud, they're meant to be sort of spoken out loud. Sorry, they're meant to be read and ingested through your brain. So that's about it. I hope everybody's well, and we'll talk again. That you can obtain the book through me, through my link, paypal.me/Tonechaser. The book is $47, which includes shipping here in the U.S. Don't forget your address, and please send those PayPal payments as family and friends, because we're all friends, right?
It's just a different feel for guitar, you know. It's just...